let's have a look at the front page of the Mercury newspaper that's down in KZN. And there, whilst the focus in Gauteng has been around Enoch Mbianzi, the death of Enoch Mbianzi, the focus is the schools. We're changing tack now. In KZN, it's a story of a different kind. And I just want to read the headline and then just go briefly into the intro. They're saying, KZN's forgotten pupils. They brave a raging river, dense forest and snakes to get to school. And you can see the picture there of the pupils trying to cross that river, apparently going to school. And if you look at that particular picture, you have, back in 2011, the same Mercury newspaper reported, in fact, it did a feature on this very river crossing. And I just want to capture the intro there. School pupils living in Malanga, Zagazi, yes, outside Dundee, either have to abandon their studies or leave their homes and seek accommodation closer to school to avoid the danger of wading through the Umzinyati River daily on their way to and from school. This is another disaster waiting to happen. And this is just part of a wider problem. I mean, if you look on the left, it says 2011 before, 2020 after, and nothing's happened in between, and that's almost, 10 years? But it's part of a wider problem in terms of our education system. If it's not latrine toilets, kids falling in and dying, then kids are being crushed by walls because trucks are crashing into school walls and there's no control. Or it's crammed taxis. 58 kids in a taxi and there's no controls. Those children, that taxi can only accommodate, I think, about 14. There was just a story that we broke the other day of a tombstone in a classroom. In the very same province. So what is happening with this education system? Where are the controls? What is the Department of Education actually doing? Are schools being inspected? Remember, we used to have that inspection system where inspectors used to go to schools. It sounds very colonial, but there was a purpose to that. That kept schools and teachers and authorities on their toes, because you never knew when an inspector was going to come. So where is all the controls in this education system? Especially when it comes to the latrine toilets in Limpopo. You look at kids not getting textbooks. It's part of a wider problem. It's not just confined to KZN. It's not just this region. The fact that you have to walk to school. I mean, I read a story in one of these papers just now about kids not being able to go to school because the government is halting the transport system. Yeah. You know, they're not willing to fund the transport system. So it's part of a wider problem. Well, there we are. We're highlighting yet another problem as the schools or the school year starts. Let's talk about what's happening in the sports pages, Sandile. Let's go to the Citizen. It says their main focus is Themba to start. That's obviously the Proteas, Themba Bavuma. And he obviously was named as vice captain of the test setup, but then he got injured. And the guy who came in to replace him played well. Rassie van der Disney scored a half-century. So it's been hard for him to actually come back, even though he was named as vice-captain in the test arena for the Proteas. Yeah. But the Proteas, they actually need him now. He scored 180 runs for the Lions. That was in a losing cause. So the headline there, it says Themba to start, is it? Yes, it does. When does it start? Today. Today. Today's Friday. It's the start of the fourth and final test at the Wanderers here in Johannesburg, the Bull Ring, as they call it. And it's been a traditional home for South African cricket in terms of the Proteas doing well at this arena here in Johannesburg. So we'll have to see, can Themba add something that was missing? Because Zubair Hamza's been dropped. He's basically the casualty for all of the batting woes that the Proteas have been going through against England in this series. They've drafted in Themba Bavuma just to kind of see, can he add something? Because he has been doing well in the domestic setup outside of the Proteas and England series. And they need some sort of fight back, some sort of doggedness in their batting unit. So hopefully he can add that specifically against England. Let's not forget he did get his test century against England in Cape Town a couple of years ago. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for making the time. Kai?
Such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the coffee, most of all, though. You're standing right here with, with your complaints. All right.